Landorus is faster. That's good to know. I can Sandsear Storm to get around a possible follow me. And I'll just Ivy Cudgel and DD, try to remove that. There's no follow me. So I could have just clicked Earth Power into Iron Crown. But we land the Sandsear Storm and it knocks out both targets, so that actually works out better. I've tried a bunch of different restricted Pokemon in Regulation G, on and off the channel, but if you've been watching for a while, you might know that by the end of the first run of this format, I was pretty convinced that the best one, at least for me, was Ice Rider Calyrex. And so this team that got top 8 at Worlds, piloted by Navjit Joshi, also known as NJ11, caught my eye right away. And not even because it was the highest placing North American team or the highest placing Canadian player. You know, that's something I keep an eye out for, how my fellow Canadians are doing. But I didn't even realize until after I decided I wanted to use this team, and it was mentioned in the team report. I just saw Ice Rider Calyrex with Reg G, and I wanted to give that a go. By the way, that team report, I can't really do this team justice like the creator can. There is an almost hour-long discussion of this team with Adi on the CK49 YouTube channel, and you can get the paste from there with the EV spreads and everything. That's where I got it, and I just finished watching it now before I started recording. But basically, this team is built around the offensive core of Ice Rider Calyrex, Regieleki, and Incarnate Form Landorus. So, Ice, Electric, Ground coverage. Very strong offensive synergy, very hard for opposing teams to deal with. Regieleki can click Electro Web and get a little bit of speed control, and then this Calyrex is trained to sacrifice a little bit of power for speed. Of course, it still hits extremely hard, but with that speed control from the Electro Web, of course that is resisted by grass types, dragon types, and ground types are immune to it, but none of those Pokemon want to take a Glacial Lance. And then the steel types that might give Calyrex some trouble are covered pretty nicely by the Earth Power and Sandsteer Storm from this Life Orb Landorus, which is also able to throw off that Sludge Bomb into electric types to help Regieleki out. Regieleki is faster than Shadow Rider Calyrex, so you can give it a helping hand from Farigiraf and land a strong Thunderbolt into that. Again, these are all things that were mentioned in the team report, which you can check out on CK49. You can also lead Landorus with Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon, and you have that ground and rock coverage that's very difficult for anything to switch into. Then you just have one of the most broken offensive Pokemon here in Rapid Striker Shifu. So overall, this is a very well-rounded offensive team that is able to, you know, I'm not necessarily sure that I'll find the right game plans picking it up for the first time. Although it's certainly engineered to be relatively easy to pick up, and it's definitely capable of performing very well into a lot of the metagame through all of these different offensive synergies here. You also have Trick Room from the Farigiraf. Farigiraf, honestly, looking a little bit silly on this team with 5 legendaries. But, of course, it's here playing an important role, helping to cover, again, for Shadow Rider Calyrex, which is a matchup you have to be prepared for when you're using Ice Rider. And also able to give a bit more speed control, like I said, with that Trick Room. And helping hand support into these strong spread attackers. And then it has a fair bit of special attack investment and can hit surprisingly hard with the Psychic. So that's the gist of the team. A lot of different possible lead combinations, but I'm definitely looking forward to trying out the Regieleki next to the Ice Rider Calyrex, which, by the way, also able to set up Trick Room for itself. But yeah, the only thing to do now is get on the ladder and see how, again, the highest performing Canadian team at Worlds 2024, making top 8, did. And right away we get the team that won Worlds, so hey, I don't think this matchup happened in the actual tournament, at least not with these two players that I'm talking up, but yeah, definitely getting tested immediately here. Okay, well, Regieleki should be the fastest Pokemon in this matchup, but, well, not after a priority Tailwind from the Whimsicott. The Miraidon on the World's winning team doesn't have Discharge. Its only spread move is Dazzling Gleam. So I could do Ogerpon Calyrex and, like, follow me Trick Room. I think that makes a lot of sense here. And then I'm guessing they go for a Tailwind lead. Maybe they get me with something else, but yeah, that's what I'm anticipating here. And then I probably bring Landorus to help cover the Miraidon and the Ogerpon and the Iron Hands. And I could do Farigiraf. I don't know how much Farigiraf really does for me in this matchup. Feels like it doesn't really do that much. Although Psychic into Urshifu, Foul Play into Ogerpon, Psychic into Iron Hands. I'm starting to talk myself into Farigiraf. Urshifu might be correct, but actually I'm going to bring Farigiraf here. We'll see how it goes. So it is... Okay, it's Miraidon Ogerpon, so not the Miraidon Calyrex, or, excuse me, Miraidon Whimsicott that I was anticipating. But I still think I could just do the Follow Me Trick Room play. And hopefully, if they do go for Dazzling Gleam, hopefully Calyrex doesn't take too much from that. Terra... What are my Terra types? Terra Water on the Calyrex? Okay, definitely don't want to click that right now. That's right, it's also mentioned in the team report, this team doesn't have... Well, it does have one natural water resist in Urshifu, which is part of why Urshifu is on the team, apart from just being so incredibly strong. But Terra Water Calyrex also gives that little bit more of a matchup piece into Kyogre. Okay, they go for Farigiraf. They're probably anticipating the Trick Room here. I mean, they could try to reset it if they want, but... Well, actually, I'm in a kind of a tough spot here because, yeah, they can reset the Trick Room. And their Ogerpon can land a big Ivy Cudgel into Calyrex if they want. I actually could Terra Water here, right? Because then I'm still threatening Miraidon when it comes back in, if the Trick Room is still up. I actually think Terra Water might be a reasonable play here. But then I have to get damage out quickly. I kind of want to Ivy Cudgel their Ogerpon, but I think it's safer to Ivy Cudgel Farigiraf. Because if I'm making this play, I cannot let them reverse the Trick Room. Oh, that doesn't do enough damage. Okay, that was probably the wrong play. And their Ogerpon is slower. I believe it is max speed Ogerpon on this team that I'm using. So I might have just thrown with that Terra. But I'll go for... yeah, I'll go to my own Farigiraf here. I'll see if I can get the Trick Room back up. Hopefully not take too much damage from their Ogerpon. They just one-shot Farigiraf. I could have set the Trick Room back up with Calyrex, actually, but... Yeah, I'm just going to lose to Miraidon now, so... Well, I actually still might not lose to Miraidon. They've used their Terra. I mean, Protected Earth Power is so obvious here, but what else can I do? Just click Glacial Lance and hope they don't knock out Calyrex. I think we just have to... There might be a read that would be better to make here, but I'm going to keep it simple. If they just Draco Meteor Landorus, then... The more I say that, the more I talk, the more I doubt this play. I could go for Trick Room, actually. No. I'm just going to do this, and if I lose, I lose. They bring Iron Hands in. Okay. Well, that just gets knocked out with a crit that I'm sure mattered into that Assault Vest set. But now they can snipe... Well, okay, hold on. Now they can snipe Calyrex if I don't get a double protect, but they might just lose to Landorus anyway, right? So, yeah, they actually forfeit. I probably end up clicking Earth Power into Miraidon and Glacial Lance there. Because Miraidon can only knock out one of my two Pokemon. And then I think the other one just wins the game. So, alright. I felt like I was under a lot of pressure that whole game once they reversed the Trick Room, but it worked out fine in the end. And immediately we get the world's winning team again. Do I want to do anything differently this time in terms of Pokemon choice? I think Ogerpon Calyrex was a fine lead. I do have to watch out for the Hearthflame Mask Ogerpon. Definitely bring Landorus. I think that's obvious at this point. Same team again, wow. Do I bring Farigiraf, or do I bring somebody else? I think Farigiraf is probably still correct. Having two Trick Room setters into this matchup does feel pretty good. Okay. Gonna move the mic a little bit. Hope this doesn't make too weird a noise. Okay, double electric lead on their end. They can fake something out if they want. Let's just protect this around that this turn. They fake out into the spiky shield. Nice. And yep, we can sack Ogre Pawn here to get Trick Room up. Did I click the right move? Okay, good. Maybe they won't take the KO on Ogre Pawn like that last opponent didn't. I think they probably will. Is it Photograph coming in? No, it's their Ogre Pawn. Okay. Yeah, they knock out Ogre Pawn. And actually, I'm in a little bit of an awkward spot against this Iron Hands, because it'll be the slowest thing on the field, right? Whom do I want to bring in? Probably Landorus. The Iron Hands isn't really threatening significant damage into that, and I can probably knock out their Ogre Pawn before it attacks, if they let me. Let's just go right for... I kind of want to... I'm tempted by Sandseer Storm, but I don't want to miss, so I'll Earth Power Ogre Pawn and... High Horsepower Ogre Pawn. That Iron Hands did a lot with that low kick. Maybe Sandseer Storm would have been a cool play. I just was worried about missing. I can't... Okay, this is not good. I can't protect here. Safely in front of this Urshifu. Do I think they're attacking Landorus, or do I think they're attacking Calyrex? I think that Urshifu attacks Landorus because Iron Hands can knock out Calyrex. Well, I think it's pretty obvious here that I switched the Calyrex out to Photograph. And that should give me some cover to do what? I'm going to go for the Sandseer Storm now. I feel like I need to make a big play like that. Okay, we stopped the Aqua Jet. Nice. We missed Sandseer Storm into Urshifu. We do hit Iron Hands. Not for as much damage as I'd like. Going for it again. And try to get this Urshifu with Psychic. But the Iron Hands knocks out Farigiraf. They get their Surging Strikes. And okay, that's a pretty quick L there. I think if I run into this team a third consecutive time, I don't go for the Trick Room game plan this time. Because it's not really working very well. That Iron Hands put in too much work. But it's not the same team again. Instead, it's an opposing Ice Rider team with Psy Spam component and Blood Moon Ursaluna. This might be a game where I can do the Reg G Calyrex lead. Honestly, I'm a little skeptical of the Calyrex into Incineroar, Iron Crown, and their own Calyrex, but I could even lead Reg G Landorus, actually. Or I could lead Landorus... This could be our Landorus Ogre Pawn game. They have solid offensive coverage into just about this whole team. Let's try that. I'll bring the Calyrex. I could bring Urshifu. I'm going to bring Reg G. I think this team might just overwhelm me here, but... Yeah, that's just going to rip off a big expanding force. I don't really have much for that, do I? Landorus is faster, that's good to know. I can Sandseer Storm to get around a possible Follow Me. And I'll just Ivy Cudgel and DD try to remove that. There's no Follow Me. So I could have just clicked Earth Power into Iron Crown. But we land the Sandseer Storm and it knocks out both targets, so that actually works out better. Perfect. Okay, Incineroar and Ursaluna. Okay. I think I'm going to switch Ogre Pawn out to reset the Intimidate. Let's protect my Pokemon first. But yeah, I think I can sack Reg G. I don't really think I need it at this point. Oh. I forgot they can't fake me out in Psychic Terrain, but they forgot that too, so, okay. Earth Powered Incineroar, and yeah, I can sack Reg G, I think. Almost KOs Incineroar. Knock Reg G down to its Sash. Should have a pretty safe follow-up Earth Power here into Incineroar, and Actually, I'll Thunderbolt it because Reg G has no way to damage Ursaluna. So Earth Power Ursaluna, Thunderbolt Incineroar. Still gets the KO. Get some good damage into Ursaluna. And we can close this out with Ogre Pawn. We don't even have to bring Calyrex. We can just Ivy Cudgel and it'll knock itself out with Life Orb damage. What, is it going to click Vacuum Wave? Doesn't really matter. Ivy Cudgel just picks up the KO. Okay. That was a little more like it. The Iron Crown gave me a bit of a scare at first, but the Clutch Sandseer Storm took care of that. This person is a Latios. And it's not on a Zamazenta team. Okay, open team sheet, sure. Online Terapagos. Okay. 2 Tailwind Setters. Interesting. They really want that Terapagos to zoom. I'm not actually sure how I beat Combine Terapagos with this team. Well, I have Ogre Pawn and Urshifu. Those are strong pieces into it. Maybe this to an extent, too. Although, Calyrex has to watch out for their Ogre Pawn and King Gambit. I'm gonna try Urshifu Calyrex lead. Let's see if I can just get the Calyrex going quickly in this game. I don't know if this makes much sense as a game plan, but we're just trying stuff here. And then I've just brought offensive pieces that cover a lot of their team. I don't have that much for Latios, actually, in this mode. But it's not like Regieleki and Farigiraf do that much to cover Latios either. Latios might actually just be kind of strong in this matchup. I even kind of want to protect Calyrex and switch out to Ogre Pawn and then have the option to redirect a Draco Meteor or something. Maybe. Maybe that's too passive. Another option is Trick Room. But did they go for Tailwind here? I didn't think so. Okay. And now, follow me, Glacial Lance. Hope I get rid of this Latios. Don't love that I'm sacking Ogre Pawn, but I do at least still have Urshifu to threaten this Terapagos. And if I get this Glacial Lance off, I can break its Terra Shell. That Terapagos sprite looks great. Whoever the artist is, they did good work there. Go right for the Stellar Terra, okay. Oh, they'll get their spread damage now, although they don't need it. Latios knocks out Ogre Pawn. We do get rid of Latios. We'll bring Urshifu right back in, keep up the pressure on this Terapagos. Chiyu, okay. Yeah, we'll just go right for close combat. And I kind of want to Terra Water Calyrex. Of course, that doesn't help it take a Dark Pulse. I could protect Calyrex this turn. Landorus is faster than Chiyu, so it can revenge kill. I'll protect for now. Go Ogre Pawn. Okay. Yeah, they do Dark Pulse into Calyrex. Not ideal for me. I'm definitely worried about running out of damage into Terapagos. Like, I kind of want to switch Urshifu out here, but I don't want to sack Landorus. But I think I am just going to guess that they don't attack that slot. I hope that works out for me. Let's see if I can pull off a Terra Water Glacial Lance. I think they just knock Calyrex out here. But I don't really see a way to preserve it that seems worthwhile in this position. Oh, okay. They actually only attack it with the Chi-Yu. It takes the Dark Pulse just fine. Gets rid of Ogre Pawn. Gets good damage into Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu does have Protect, so I'll play around that by protecting Landorus here. And I'll protect Calyrex. And then I'll try to knock Chi-Yu out next turn. And then Terapagos should lose to Urshifu. They do have ways to play around this, but I think this is the best I can do right now. That's a good Terapagos sprite too. A lot of little details in that design that don't really lend themselves to these old-fashioned sprites, but yeah, the artist did a really solid job. Okay, yeah, now we Earth Power Chi-Yu, and I mean, sack Calyrex. That Terapagos is looking a little healthy. Maybe I've misplayed this in the end, but let's see. Now we're fine. There we go. Preserving Urshifu in the back pays off. And I was a little nervous about switching Landorus in that position, but hey, it did what it needed to do. Got rid of the Chi-Yu. And then I just have the Terapagos left to deal with. A Zacian team, okay. Therian, Landorus, Heatran, Gastrodon. A lot of unusual stuff here. This still doesn't feel like the matchup to lead Reg G. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. They have two ground types, but they're ground types that hold up relatively well against Glacial Lance. Or maybe I could lead Reg G Landorus, try to snipe the Zacian in the early game. That's an option. It's actually not that obvious to me what 4 Pokemon to bring. I think definitely Regieleki, Landorus, and Calyrex. I'm just not sure what the last one should be. Ogerpon's probably okay here. Urshifu doesn't seem that great into Gastrodon. I'm going to lead Regieleki, Landorus. There are definitely lead matchups that I might not want to see here, but this one looks okay. I have to be careful, though. They don't just knock out Landorus before it gets to attack. Honestly, maybe like Terra Electric Thunderbolt into Zacian is the better play here. I don't know. Terra Water. Oh, I really should have Thunderbolted it. Okay, but they Behemoth Blade into a Protect. Regieleki's Focus Sash is still intact. I think it's... Electro Web is not going to knock out Zacian, so I do think it's probably worthwhile to go for a Thunderbolt here. And I'll switch Landorus. I don't know. Landorus is valuable into Heatran, but not really the rest of their team. I think I can let Landorus go down here and keep Ogerpon in the back. Just try to pick up this Tornadus with a Sludge Bomb if I can. Okay, they switch in their Landorus. That means Regieleki will definitely get a chance to attack, but it attacks into a Protect. Okay. Sludge Bomb will chip their Landorus a little bit. Kind of want to protect Regieleki here, kill a turn of their Tailwind. Let's just double protect. See, Heatran is last, okay. In that case, I probably want to preserve Regieleki because it's such an offensive threat to their 2 Pokemon that are currently in the back. I'm honestly thinking about switching Calyrex in. I feel like Calyrex is not that important into this Zacian and Heatran. Like, that might be... If I'm sacking something here, that might be the call. And I'll see if I can Earth Power this Heatran right now. Stomping Tantrum into Calyrex. Heat Wave will not knock anything out. They do just let me have their Heatran. Tailwind ends, but they can get Tornadus back in now if they want, and they do. Okay. Alright. I'm thinking about Trick Room, but I have 2 fast Pokemon in the back. I don't know for sure what they'll do. I think I'm just going to click Glacial Lance. They'll probably knock Calyrex out here anyway. Is it worth it to Terra Water? I don't think so. They'll probably just knock it out. I'll go Sludge Bomb into Tornadus, try to pick that up one way or another. Okay, Rock Slide, KO Calyrex, but miss Landorus. I get their Tornadus, okay. So it's just Landorus and Zacian now. And I'm going to bring Ogerpon in with the goal of... Well, the goal of killing their Tailwind turns. The problem is I need to knock out this Landorus somehow. Reg G can't do it. Genuinely impossible. So I probably need to try to land a Power Whip into their Landorus. That seems easier said than done. Yeah, I don't know if I can win this, actually. Well, I might need some fortune, basically. Let's try. Yeah, if they knock out Ogerpon right now, I think that just loses me the game. Okay. I didn't find the right answers in the end. That's unfortunate for me, but it happens. I'm just going to lose to their Landorus now. We'll play it out to the end, though. What did I need to do there? I mean, Calyrex was my best offensive threat into the Landorus. And I never ended up terrestrializing in this game. So yeah, I could have used the Terra Water Calyrex to beat Landorus and sit on the field against Zacian. The problem is I also need to knock Zacian out somehow. But I guess preserving... I guess I was too tunnel visioned into using Reg G to beat Zacian. And I probably would have been okay to sack Zacian, preserve Calyrex, have that threat available into their Landorus, and then try to beat Zacian with Ogerpon. I think that was just the way that I needed to play it in the end. Might as well Terra. Yeah, so I needed to be more flexible. I identified the Reg G early as an offensive threat into their Zacian, but then I tunnel visioned too much into using it specifically to beat Zacian, and I needed to be more flexible in the mid-game. And in the end, they positioned their Landorus well enough that I couldn't beat it in the end. I keep saying in the end. Couldn't beat it in the end game. Here's a hard Trick Room team. Well, pretty hard. This doesn't really look like a Trick Room piece, but it's just here to enable the Trick Room, I know. How do I beat this? Well, getting offensive pressure right away with Calyrex should be pretty good. I can bring Farigiraf to stop a possible fake out. Although they might not even, depending on whether they lead a DD, they might not even try a fake out. I think I bring Farigiraf in the back, or alternatively, I can lead Farigiraf and click Helping Hand with Glacial Lance, but I don't think I need to do that. I think I do Calyrex with like Urshifu or Ogerpon. I think Ogerpon Calyrex makes sense. I can threaten an Ivy Cudgel into a Trick Room setter. That does fail to stop in DD Calyrex on their side, doesn't it? But I don't really have a way to stop that, I don't think. Maybe with like Reg G. No, because nothing gets around the follow me. Bring Landorus last. These Trick Room matchups do seem, into more dedicated Trick Room teams, definitely seem difficult. Yeah, I feel like they're getting Trick Room up one way or another here. But, we'll try to do what we can. I could actually click Trick Room with Calyrex instead of Glacial Lance. Eject button? To Torkoal, okay. They didn't click Trick Room, so I set it up for them after all that. That's unfortunate for me. To get Calyrex out of there. It's not the worst thing, though, to have Terra Water Calyrex available into this Torkoal. Although with the Instruct, yeah, it's going to do so much damage. I think I just... Do I just let Ogerpon go down here? Or do I let Landorus go down? I think Ogerpon is actually more important, because they probably have their Calyrex in the back. So I guess I sack Landorus. Holy moly. Maybe I needed to reverse Trick Room this turn instead of attacking Torkoal. Yeah, probably. Well, maybe I get some lucky double protects. Yeah, this team is definitely very strong, but I've just not quite gotten the positioning right in some of these matchups. Oh, let's see if I hit both double protects. Got one. Only one. Okay. Yeah, I think without Ogerpon I just lose. That still does 50. Actually could have knocked Ogerpon out that turn, but putting it to sleep is almost as good. They get their Trick Room back for their Calyrex. Okay, yeah. That's GG. Alright, I'm gonna play a little bit longer just because I said I was interested in the Reg G Calyrex lead and I never actually used it. So let's try it right here. Ooh. Torn Ogre team. This might not be the time for it, but we're gonna do it anyway. We'll bring our Shifu to these, I think. And I'll bring Ogerpon. Yeah, we'll see if Regieleki and Ice Rider Calyrex, the duo that I flagged at the beginning of the video, but that never actually brought to any of those games. We'll see if they can just kind of shred this team here. Although into Tailwind, that might not be the right call. Yeah, I feel like if there's one game that's going to stick with me, it's the one where I lost to that Therian form Landorus. And it really shows how you need to be flexible in your thinking playing VGC, right? Because I just got a little bit too wedded to the Regieleki beating the Zacian. And my opponent was able to take advantage of that. I'm still not saying it would have been easy if I'd switched to a different plan, but I lost sight of the best option I had to try to close that out. Okay. Alright. Tornadus, Chien-Pao. That's not too bad. I think I probably will just rip the Terra Water right away on Calyrex. There's not much downside to it in this matchup. And I don't want to take a super effective Throat Chop or Sucker Punch. Just Electro Web, Water, Glacial Lance. They could have Thunder on Kyogre, I guess, but maybe they don't. Okay, big Sucker Punch into Regieleki, but not big enough to KO. Calyrex gets... would have preferred to crit the other target, but still gets a +1 attack. Still at full HP. They do have their Tailwind up. I didn't bring Farigiraf, so we protect around the possible fake out here. And they can click Knockoff into Calyrex. and get rid of the clear amulet. That could give me some trouble later, but Calyrex has already started to get going pretty nicely here, and of course, it at least won't take super effective damage. Let's just Electro Web and high horsepower the Incineroar. Actually, let's switch Reg. Let's preserve Reg G. Might be useful in the back when their Tailwind is over. Urshifu switches in relatively safely here. And I'll go Glacial Lance to try to knock out this Chien-Pao. Yeah, and we play around that Sucker Punch. Knock out Chien-Pao, chip Incineroar, get Calyrex to +2. And they can't switch Incineroar out now, so they can still click Parting Shot if they want, but there's no Intimidate. They didn't bring their restricted Pokemon. That's kind of odd, but maybe they felt threatened by Regieleki. But yeah, not too afraid of an Amoonguss here. I do think I'll just kill the last turn of their Tailwind before I do anything else. And then Calyrex should just clean this one up. Well, and Urshifu can hang on. They're normal. Okay. Urshifu, if they don't click Rage Powder, can clean up the Incineroar. In fact, I could even switch Urshifu out after this turn. I don't need Amoonguss, or I don't need Regieleki anymore now that I've seen that they didn't bring Kyogre. I can just keep Urshifu healthy in the back to get rid of this Amoonguss. Okay. Or I can pick up Incineroar with the yeah, I can just close combat Amoonguss and high horsepower Incineroar here, and then beat Amoonguss in the end game. I don't need to switch Urshifu out. Hit damage. And I can actually knock Amoonguss out with Regieleki if I really need to, but I don't think Amoonguss is KOing anything here. No. Close combat will finish that off. Alright, so the Regieleki Calyrex lead duo looked pretty good there. Let's try it again. If this next matchup makes any sense. Ooh. This is some Trick Room stuff again. I think this is the last game, independent of how it turns out. You know, I still like being able to threaten a Thunderbolt into something. Or Electro Web into Glacial Lance if I see the Indeedee. Let's try this. Urshifu might get kind of nerfed if it has to play in Psychic Terrain and Sun, but we'll try. I don't know how best to attack this. Kind of want to just do this. It's 50, okay. Chip the Torkoal down. Imprison? This looks like a pretty hard Trick Room team, but they just focused on denying my Trick Room. Well. Oh, no, they don't even have Trick Room on the Calyrex. They just turned off my high horsepower. Okay. That's interesting. Which one do I want to Thunderbolt? I think this one. I don't think I want to let it start snowballing. Wait, what? Oh. Okay, ran out of time. Wait. So then maybe they do have Trick Room and it just didn't show me right away? I don't necessarily know how these things work, I guess. Okay, I get Ogre Pawn in here. Can threaten an Ivy Cudgel into this. But then it won't even let me click high horsepower. I'll just switch out to Urshifu, I guess. That'll take an eruption relatively well. We do knock out their Calyrex. Don't think I needed that crit. What a weird game. Delayed, okay. Oh, wait. I might be letting them have Trick Room. Okay, they didn't go for it. I think it's worth it to try to knock out this Torkoal now. And that's good damage into Glade. Get rid of Torkoal. We'll lose Urshifu to this, yeah. Comes down to Calyrex and Ogre Pawn against Glade and Indeedee. Okay, that's fine. Ogre Pawn will be the fastest. Oh, but... Well, here's the thing. They can quick follow me and redirect the Ivy Cudgel, which is coming out into Glade here, but... that frees up Glacial Lance, because yes, Glade probably has Wide Guard, but if they click Follow Me and Wide Guard, they're not doing anything back to me. They're just stopping my moves. And we do just knock out Glade. We knock out Indeedee. That was a pretty weird game. I know what I said, but now that I'm actually using the Reg G Glade lead, let's see, this is appropriate. This is almost the team that won Worlds, except they have Incineroar instead of Hearthflame Mask Ogre Pawn. But yeah, we're going to depart from the Trick Room idea into this. Didn't really work very well to begin with. Always bring Landorus for sure to this one. I don't really think I'm feeling the Farigiraf into this. Well, maybe I am. 2 fighting types. Trick Room possibilities from them. I'll bring Farigiraf. But I don't know, it feels kind of weak and awkward. We'll see how I end up feeling about that. Yeah, the Terra Water Ice Rider Calyrex into Miraidon is a little bit of a tricky matchup situation. That said, I should be able to pretty freely switch to Landorus here, shouldn't I? Here's hoping. I'm definitely glad that I didn't just stop at 3 losses this time, and I kept going a little bit, try to figure this team out a little more. Stopping the Volt Switch there is pretty nice. I don't think Miraidon is... they could go for like a Draco Meteor or something. I kind of want to snipe this Whimsicott with Sludge Bomb, but I'm worried about the Tailwind into Draco Meteor, so I'll protect Landorus. And no switch. Volt switch. Okay. I could have gotten the Sludge Bomb off there. Oh well. Urshifu can't knock out both of my Pokemon this turn. They don't need to. They can probably knock Regieleki out with Whimsicott. Alright, in that case, I think I Terra Poison Landorus. And finally go for that Sludge Bomb. I was looking to take... Okay, I guessed wrong. I was looking to take a Surging Strikes there, but... Yeah, we do get rid of the Whimsicott. That much is good. I'll get Farigiraf in here. But they can go... that, and I've given up my ground typing. Yeah, these Miraidon teams are just really hard to deal with. I don't remember whether Navji Joshi ever played a Miraidon at Worlds. You'd think so, right? But I definitely don't know the game plan into these. Okay, we'll land this Psychic into Urshifu. For less damage than I'd like. Maybe, you know what? That probably was the time to click Trick Room. That's really unfortunate by me. I was gonna say unfortunate for me, but it's not luck. I just keep getting these calls wrong. Probably too late now, but we'll try. Don't think that crit mattered. Yeah, and okay, Calyrex is just gonna lose in the back. Yeah. So I finally didn't go for Trick Room plays in one of these Miraidon matchups, and this time I was punished for that. Obviously, it's a playable matchup, but it is a tough one for this team for sure. That's interesting. This would be a good chance to set Trick Room and end up beating the Miraidon after all, except Iron Hands... Wait. Iron Hands is going to be slower than Calyrex and Trick Room. You know what? I think I still have to try it. Do they fake out here? I didn't protect to cover for the fake out because that was giving free damage to Urshifu, but they made the smarter play there, I think, switching Urshifu out. They knew, I guess, you know, they knew that the fake out, they knew that the pressure from Unseen Fist would disincentivize me to fake out, to protect to get around the fake out. And that meant that they could deny the Trick Room, they could get me right on in and finish me off before I could get the Trick Room up. So it looked like there was still one more chance there, but no, it didn't work out. These Miraidon matchups are definitely tough. But yeah, I'm glad I played a little extra longer with this team. Made a little bit of progress on figuring it out, though. It's Reg G. There are always some hard matchups where you just have to get the calls right. And I was not always doing that today, but Reg G and Ice Rider Calyrex, definitely a fun duo. Fun trio with Landorus. Fun quartet with the Ogerpon. I didn't really get as much out of the Farigiraf, for sure. The Urshifu had some moments. It came in pretty clutch against that Terapagos in particular. But yeah, just a really fun group of offensive Pokemon with those synergies in their offensive type coverage. And a couple different options for speed control, balancing each other out pretty well. I don't know that I've found this necessarily as the easiest team to pick up, but hey, it's a tough format, and I'm still getting back into the hang of it after playing without legendary Pokemon for a few months. In any case, team report on CK49, definitely check it out. You can get the EV spreads there, and I think people have been using this team quite a bit in grassroots tournaments lately, which is how it popped back up on my radar with the return of Reg G. Definitely worth checking out.